Hi, I'm TJ, and people recoil in disgust when I try and check their ankles for sprains.
And I'm Mo, and where the fuck are my tea and crumpets, TJ?
Well, no tea and crumpets here, but I got a nice scone for you.
And this is...
It's still new to us, damn it!
Welcome to It's Still New to Us, damn it. This is a show about two slobs watching movies they haven't seen before to make them the most interesting men in the world.
Yes, we'll be hits at parties.
Yes,
whenever we're invited to one.
We'll be more interesting than that man in those beer commercials.
That's right.
Exactly. And we'll get women. Well, I'll get women. You have a woman, so...
That's right.
That's true. Anyway, we're a show about watching movies. Very original, I know.
Very original.
Yes. Sorry it's been a while. Once again, TJ is trying to better himself and get an education. And not focusing on the podcast.
I know. Sorry, folks.
I know. But we're back, baby. We're back in the dungeon, back in my basement, surrounded by Christmas ornaments, and we have a nice little Easter thing here.
Oh, very good.
Hey.
It's a room for all seasons.
Room for all seasons. If you hear pipes, this is where the main shit goes throughout my house. So it means somebody took a shit while we were recording. So hope you enjoy it.
Something metaphoric about this.
Yeah, exactly.
So what's our movie today?
Movie today is a movie called Sense and Sensibility.
Yes.
Released in 1995, directed by Ang Lee, written by Emma Thomas, and based on Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen. Why am I talking like this? I don't know. Is it because this is a British period piece? Yes.
It seems to be.
Exactly.
You are not listening. Your headphones are not playing NPR.
Yeah. They are playing. It's doing us, damn it.
That's right.
I think NPR would love to have us.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think college professors will enjoy this.
Maybe.
Yeah, who knows? Anyway, it stars Emma Thompson, Howard End, Doolittle, the Robert Downey Jr. one, yeah.
Jeez.
So weird. Like, he has like all the power in the universe and movie-wise, and he said, let's do a remake of the 1960 musical Doolittle.
Which wasn't even good itself.
No, it wasn't, no. Alan Rickman, Die Hard, Alice in Wonderland, the Tim Burton one.
Mm-hmm.
Kate Winslet, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, and Movie 43. Yes. Hugh Grant, Four Weddings and a Funeral, and Did You Hear About the Morgans? Which nobody did, because nobody saw that movie.
You've not heard about the Morgans?
No. So TJ, what the hell is this movie about? She was friends with, House, the show House,
yeah.
Hugh Laurie.
Yeah.
She's friends with, like, Stephen Fry, Hugh Laurie, all those guys, because either they went to school together or they were in, like, a comedy troupe together. I'm not sure. But she knows them. She was well connected in the comedy community in Britain and stuff, and in the acting community, of course. So, yeah, she's been there for a while, so she knows what she's doing. I haven't really seen a lot of Emma Thompson films, so this is, like, the first major one I've seen. Mm-hmm. So, I actually am interested to see... I want to see, like, Howard's End and stuff. I don't know if she was in Persuasion or not, but I don't think she was. I think she was in another one that's also a Jane Austen adaptation.
Okay, well, we'll look into that.
Yeah. Have you have any history of Emma Thompson? Watch any of her films?
Not really. I knew of her as the weird professor of, like, botany or whatever.
Yes.
Harry Potter.
All these actors are mostly in Harry Potter, except for Kate Winslet.
Yeah, it's actually
and Hugh Grant. Hugh Grant was not in Harry Potter.
It's actually a good point.
Yes.
They are, aren't they?
Yeah.
But I've always known her about her reputation that precedes her. She's very well liked, I think, in the film industry.
Definitely,
and, certainly around the world. I think she's very popular.
Yeah.
And she's been good in the limited things I've seen her in. I had no idea what any of this movie was going to be about. When I heard it was an Ang Lee directed movie, I was a little bit...
worried?
No, not even worried. Just like, that would be the last person I'd probably expect to direct what I would assume to be like a period romantic piece.
Yeah, because we mostly know Ang Lee from The Hulk. That's majority of it,
Life
right?
of Pi.
Life of Pi.
That's probably what. Those are the two I go to probably, which is probably a shame. Because he did what? Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Yeah, that's him. That was the main thing that got him to Jeff.
It's a shame I've never seen it actually.
Yeah. So yeah, Ang Lee, Taiwanese film director, very famous for making like family dramas. That's like his main thing. So
really?
I can see why he would be perfect for Sense and Sensibility, because that's mostly what it's all about. So before I watched this, I watched an Ang Lee film called what's it called? The Wedding Reception. I believe is what it's called. Yes, it's a film about a Taiwanese family whose son is gay, but the family does not know it. So he hires a tenant from the building he owns to portray his wife while they stay with his gay partner.
Okay.
Yes, it's very well directed. It's very emotional, but it was a very good movie, very well made movie.
Sure.
Definitely.
See, now that's interesting, though, because I know I mentioned Hulk and Life of Pi first, but I guess in retrospect, I do think of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon first, which, again, I've never actually seen. So I always thought of him as like a martial arts type of director, like an action movie director.
Yeah.
But you're saying he built his name on,
family dramas.
Family dramas?
Concert, yeah.
Okay.
So it's called, The Wedding Banquet, not The Wedding Reception. Okay. Yeah, so he's basically known for very family drama films. The first 3 films he made is called the Father Knows Best trilogy. That's what people call it. Pushing Hands, The Wedding Banquet, and Eat, Drink, Man, Woman, which I believe the same actor plays the father in each one. I could be wrong about that, but I have not checked. But they look exactly the same. But he's done The Ice Storm, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Hulk. He did Brokeback Mountain.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yeah, of course, Life of Pi.
Yeah.
But yeah, recently his films have not been that huge. He did that Halftime Walk movie. Yeah, Billy Lynn's Long Halftime Walk. That's
yeah.
Okay. And then he did Gemini Man, the Will Smith action movie where he plays...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, that flopped hard, didn't it?
Yeah, it did, definitely. But I can definitely see why they chose Ang Lee for this film. He's very, that's what basically the movie's all about. There's, human connection within the family.
Sure.
And the dynamics of each change, whether it be class, sexuality, femininity, all that stuff. So, yeah.
Sure. And another thing that surprised me about the movie is I saw when I was renting it on Amazon, PG rating.
Yes.
So that kind of curbed my expectations a little bit. I knew we weren't getting some super saucy romance like we did last time with Dangerous Liaisons.
Yeah.
And we weren't going to get any, violence, I guess, of any kind.
Yeah.
It really was a family picture, and I don't know. My notes are so minimal on this movie.
Do you call this not a chick flick, but this is definitely like a mom film, something would moms enjoy.
Kinda.
Yeah. Kinda. It's very innocent. Not that much happens.
Yeah.
It's very just straightforward, and they have a swell time. Yeah. They have some drama, and then it ends.
That's the thing. That's the real key. There was no real drama or conflict that I saw. Their lives are reduced from living in a mansion, a chateau, or not a chateau, but a mansion with servants and everything, to living on the cottage that they rented was not shabby.
No.
It was small.
It's supposed to look shabby, but
it was small, but it had a beautiful countryside view, and they had neighbors that were rich and they could watch over them, kind of. And even though they had to put up with, the bombastic, I think her name was Mrs. Jennings.
Yeah.
She still seemed genuinely
nice. Yeah. They fed her well. They fed them well. In the scene, there was a scene where they were talking, and they're on a table with all this food. It looked extravagant, full leg of something, and jelly and jellies and creams and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they weren't not poor and destitute. There was a scene we couldn't afford beef this month because it's only 500 pounds a month. Which but you still have servants, you still have everything. I think that was one of the major flaws of this movie. That's what Emma Thompson changed. She was they didn't make them that not well off. They still upped the class a little bit. Because it does show the difference between them. They're renting out from a family member or whoever that is. And they still have servants, but they're not the upper rich what they once were. So
right, they were renting from Sir John Middleton and are they married? Mrs. Jennings.
Their mother-in-law. That was his mother-in-law.
Oh, gotcha. That makes sense then.
Yeah,
but they were super, super nice. And at the beginning, I guess maybe you watch enough movies where there's something similar like this, and you think these people have an ulterior motive, but no, they just want some company. Yeah. They enjoyed being bombastic, and they brought him to London on holiday. A quick little setup. So they. The mother of the daughters, Mrs. Dashwood, she was her husband, again, is the one who passes away in the beginning and sets this whole thing in motion. Mm-hmm. He'd had a previous marriage, and from that previous marriage, in his will, his son with his first wife was to inherit everything, and he makes his son promise on his deathbed, makes his son promise that he'll give his current wife and her daughters an allowance, yearly allowance.
Yeah.
And then the next scene kind of is the son and his stingy wife saying, they could do with this much. That's a little luxury. And then, they kind of whittle it down,
definitely,
right? I guess that's the closest we have to an antagonist.
Yeah. Because I think it shows, the difference of, wealth. There's rich and then there's super rich. Now. There's, upper middle class. They're rich and they can afford expensive cars and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Then there's the uber rich, which is like billionaires, which is like they can afford everything. So is it like Emma Thompson and her family are well off, but they're not like that character. Mm-hmm. They're not like that. So like they seem to be looked down on.
Well, yeah, the uber rich, and you kind of bring it up when you talk about billionaires. Like, money's not a thing to them. This is their world. They can do whatever they choose.
Yeah, and that's what
exactly.
Miss what's her name?
Fanny.
Fanny Dashwood. Yeah, so she was
the sister-in-law.
She's supposed to represent like that.
Correct. Yeah. And it is her. She married into the family.
Yeah,
and it is her brother. She has two younger brothers?
Yeah, two younger brothers. One played by Hugh Grant, Edward. And the other one is Robert.
Yeah,
who we see as a dick.
I gotta tell you, for taking no notes while watching this movie, I've retained the names better than I ever would have imagined.
Yeah, I have still have not. I failed at that. So
I will tell you, folks, the first 15 minutes of this movie were me thinking, what the hell has this guy made me watch?
Yeah.
Like, not offended, but just like, oh, good Lord, this is gonna be a long movie. Or, you know.
And it was. Like, I watched that night before I watched the movie, I watched Lolita, which is 2 hours and 30 minutes long, just like this movie. Mm-hmm. And I enjoyed Lolita more, even though Lolita is about a scumbag who tries to sleep with a 16-year-old woman. So
because there's some intrigue there.
There's conflict. The guy's a scumbag. Like, you can see it in the way he does stuff and everything like that.
Yes.
But this felt like a painting. Like I was watching a painting. It's like Miyazaki films. Like in some Miyazaki films, they're all beautiful. Mm-hmm. They're all just like. It's like this movie, wandering landscapes and like great countrysides, and that's great. That's great to look at a picture for a little bit, but you gotta move on.
That's exactly.
This film moves on very slowly.
That's actually a really good analogy, though. This movie is like a pleasant painting of a countryside.
Yeah,
where it's nice to look at, but then you move on with your day. Eventually.
Yeah, exactly.
It's well acted. It's well written.
Yeah, some wit to it.
There's some wit to it. I liked Hugh Laurie's character. He was funny.
Yeah.
He was, I guess, the comedic relief. But also, everyone in this movie is a good person at the end of the day. Like, Fanny, she's stodgy and stingy, and she kicks them out. But realistically, they gave them time to move, right? Didn't it seem like the Dashwoods were all staying together in that mansion?
Yeah, they were, but they were like there was all. It's all just like I think that's the speech of the times, and everything was just passive aggressive. There was no like expressing the emotion or anything like that. Everything is passive aggressive. You talk behind people's backs, and then
See, I assumed that they'd be kicked out penniless, and like. No, they're still they're renting that cottage.
Yeah.
And like they still have a piano that Marianne can play.
Yeah, they're still. Yeah, I think that's the main problem.
They're doing their own work though.
People don't really connect with this because like they're still fine. You know,
they're living a sensible life.
Sensible life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I think your painting analogy is spot on.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the suitors though, real quick. So we have Hugh Grant as Edward Ferrars, who comes to visit his sister, who is Fanny, at the big mansion right before the Dashwoods finally, Mrs. Dashwood and her daughters finally leave, right? And he develops a kinship, or not a kinship. What the hell am I saying? A bond. A bond. The start of a romance with the oldest daughter, played by Emma Thompson. That's Eleanor Dashwood. And right before the sisters and the Dashwoods all leave, Hugh Grant, Edward is telling her, I have to tell you something about my education. And he goes on, he starts to tell this seemingly grandiose story until he's interrupted by Fanny. And then he's taken away and he says, hey, I'll deliver you this atlas that the youngest daughter really likes. He said, I'll get that to you. I'll bring it to you. What did you think he was going to confess? Anything?
I didn't know. Okay, so the men in this movie have been changed a little bit to seem more likable. Because like during the time, like I've never read the book. Maybe in the book they're more cruel, they're more obnoxious. Maybe I think Hugh Grant's character is supposed to be very boring. Not any really charm to him at all. So, in that way, they changed the character to make him more charming, more fun. When they're playing with the little girl and everything like that. Yeah, so...
But he's also, like, almost too good. There's too many green
flags.
That's true, you know what I mean? But it's not a bad thing. It's just, I think that we're jaded after seeing... that's how these movies usually are, is if someone's too good to believe...
Yeah.
Then, there's something they're hiding. Mm-hmm. But as far as we know, he's not hiding anything. At least he's got a secret, but it's not really anything malicious toward the Dashwoods, right? It's just a secret that he's had. and that is that he's already engaged.
Yeah, for 5 years.
For 5 years, a secret engagement because he knew that his family would not approve of Miss Lucy Steele, who we meet later on.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as Edward goes, I can't ever say he's bad in this movie. He's not a bad person.
I mean, he does like hide the fact that he was engaged.
I think he was going to tell her in the stables there before Fanny took him away.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's what Eleanor believes. She said something about it later.
Yeah.
But all right, yeah, he is kind of white bread. Hugh Grant is fine, I thought.
Yeah.
I thought he was good.
That's true. Like,
you know.
Mm-hmm. And then we got Lord Wilbur. What's his name? Not Wilbur.
John Willoughby?
Well, John Willoughby, yes.
Yeah, played by
Knight in Shining Armor.
Yes. Yes. So the second sister, Marianne, Kate Winslet, is out on a walk during a storm.
Yeah.
Trips and falls down a hill and sprains her ankle. And suddenly, coming up on horseback is John Willoughby, played by Greg Wise, who I read actually later on married Emma Thompson.
Yeah.
Cool. So first thoughts on him.
I can tell something about it. I think that was the point of the whole thing. Like, he's too good to be true. You know, he's the perfect man for Kate Winslet's character. You know, because she's very from the heart. So she finds this very like heroic man who's romantic, loves Shakespeare.
He checks her ankle, finds out it's not broken, but it's a sprain, and then carries her home. Next day comes to visit with flowers.
Yeah, he's basically the knight in shining armor. So yeah,
right.
But it's more believable like he's hiding something, you know, because like maybe he's not too good to be true.
It's what it seems like. Yeah. But was he actually hiding something? Because later on at a party, and full spoilers on this movie, by the way, if you haven't figured out. Later on at a high society party, attended by the Dashwoods in London, Marianne sees John Willoughby partying, and he tries to lose her, and it turns out he's found a new woman, a new fiance.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they set it up to where he didn't ditch her because he didn't have feelings. He didn't love her or care about her. But again, marriage is a business transaction.
Back then,
back in these days.
Yeah.
And they make several hints, including at the very, very end, when you see him overlooking what's going on at their wedding ceremony. At her wedding ceremony, I don't know. I think he still genuinely loved her.
Yeah, he did, but fortunately he had to do it because he ran out of money. So he had to turn away and he was disowned and had to marry for money.
Sure.
Which is a lot of time. But like once again, like Kate Winslet's character on to the whole thing. Didn't say like, oh, sorry, I can't do this. Even though they didn't confess their love to each other. There wasn't a relationship established.
That's true. He definitely liked the affection he was getting.
True.
He definitely he did kind of lead her on a little bit, but I do think that he genuinely wanted to be with her.
Yeah.
So that, I guess, brings us to Colonel Brandon, played by Alan Rickman.
Yeah.
Again, all these suitors should have a ton of red flags, and they seemingly do, but then they're not really worth anything. Like, Alan Rickman is clearly much older than Marianne.
Yeah, she was like, okay, so in the book, Emma Thompson's character is supposed to be like 19.
Okay.
I think Kate Winslet's supposed to be like 16 or something.
Oh, great.
So, but of course, Emma Thompson was in her 30s when this came out. So, yeah, so that's the huge disparity about that. So, yeah.
It's probably for the better, because Alan Rickman had to be in his 40s at least.
Yeah.
At least. I mean, this is post Die Hard.
Yeah.
So I would imagine probably in his 40s.
Mm-hmm.
Alan Rickman, great as always. The character to me seemed a little bland. Like, he's a respected colonel.
Yeah.
And he's constantly on call. Like, he hosts a picnic. And he's like, first of all, he's smitten by Marianne, right? Like, right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
And he wants to be with her. But he's also really gracious when John Willoughby kind of beats him. He's pretty gracious about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He doesn't challenge him to a duel or treat Marianne as some object. He's pretty gracious about, you win this one. But then when the controversy about Willoughby impregnating his daughter or whatever comes up, he seizes the opportunity to be the new White Knight.
Yeah.
When Marianne falls sick, right? She's got a virus.
Infection.
Infection, I should say. And he's the one that carries her inside.
Yeah, he's the new White Knight. He's like the real one. Yeah.
Yes.
That's true.
Again, none of all these characters, they're just so bland in a way, right?
Yeah.
I'm not kind of trying to diss the movie or Jane Austen, but they're all too perfect.
Yeah.
They're also
I think that's the difference in the movie also, because like we're supposed to in the book we're supposed to see Kate Winslet as like the troubled one, you know, as like because it's like sense means sensible back then.
Yeah.
So Emma Thompson is a sensible one.
Okay.
But she's not really seen as sensible in the movie because we want her to show her passion, to be with the man she loves, you know, show something, but she doesn't do it. But we see in Mary Ann, she is passionate, and she's doing the right thing. She's going after the man she wants. And that's not a bad thing, but of course in British society back then, it is seen as desperate and maybe hushy wives, or whatever slang term for whore they had back then.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's in the book, we see it as that. But in the movie, it's opposite.
I guess that's true, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, the most drama we see in this is when Willoughby, you know, marries someone else, and Marianne's crying in bed for, like, a couple days. But, like, that's, like, normal heartbreak shit that teenagers go through.
That's true.
So, I don't know. This movie has, like, little ups and little downs. It's
the ups are good, though. The ups are good. Like, when, like, let's say halfway, like, in the middle of the movie, when the things start happening, when we find out that Hugh Grant's character is secretly engaged. Yeah. When we find out that Lord Willoughby is a piece of shit, it gets better. Cause that's when it actually starts to happen. That's when we see the drama, we see the turmoil.
Right.
Yeah. Then we see the happy ending.
Everyone gets married to whom they're supposed to be married to.
Yeah. But I think that's the problem. Like, I want more emotion.
Right.
I want more of it, and we don't get that because of British society back then and how the book was written is not supposed to be like that. It's understandable, and there is wit to it, and there's charm to it, and that's fine. But like, I need more.
It's a safe mom movie.
Yeah, it's a safe mom movie. Yes,
it's the one that '90s moms would go see together, and you know, talk about how handsome the men were.
Yeah,
I guess I don't know.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about British period pieces as like an art form? Like,
listen, I'm down with any genre as long as it, you know, says something about something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not going to, like I said, I jokingly said, what the hell is this guy making me watch for the first 15 minutes of it? But I always go into it with an open mind. Yeah. And I ended up enjoying it. You know what I mean? I clearly enjoyed it enough to remember characters' names and not just the actors who played them. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed the set design, the music. Everything was done very, very well.
Yeah, cinematography was great and everything
terrific.
Like that.
Ang Lee's direction, terrific. Mm-hmm. There's really not a bad thing I can say about this movie other than it doesn't meet the level of drama and conflict that I'm used to.
Yeah,
like it's so safe. It's
like the last movie, Danger to East On. There's just so much drama, so much passion. Juicy. There's just so much juiciness that like that film. I think it's better than this film because it shows like actually has like risk to it. Malkovich character dies. Glenn Close's character is banished from society. Yeah, you know, it's just like.
There were actually consequences.
This one's like, yeah, they got their hearts broken, and that sucks. Mm-hmm. And that is drama, but then like everything's fine.
Because the characters are all too good. They're too mature too.
They don't show their real emotions because of British society. You just get all these feelings, and I'm just like punch. I'm like when Kate Winslet, when Emma Thompson is with her sister-in-law, I'm like punch her in the fucking face. Like, do something.
You want her to,
and and I think that's also a problem in the movie because when they change that. You know, it's just it doesn't really work that well. I don't.
When you see Emma Thompson with Hugh Grant at the end, and he's explaining his secret engagement to Lucy Steele, you're waiting for her to say, you know, but I love you. And you're waiting for them to like kiss or something, and you know, confess, hey, I want out of this engagement. But none of that happens because they're both so honorable. Yeah, and they're both so good at keeping their emotions in check. And frankly. I get it's like a reflection of how romance was probably dealt with at the time. Yeah. And I'll take it for what it's worth because it was written, you know, as a contemporary piece, right? In 1811. It was written in that time. Yeah. Right? I don't know if it's just aged poorly or people are just, you know, marriage obviously and love don't have the same meaning as they used to. Yeah. Again, it's a really good movie. It's very well made. Yeah. But it's not one that I'll return to.
Yeah, like maybe they should have had the men be shit. Like, you know, like not just have them be like nice boys or like men who've made mistakes or something like that. Yeah. Or maybe we're just not overanalyzing the men more because like Willoughby did do something bad. And he should have not done it. And he should have be real with his feelings, but of course he couldn't do that because then it would be poor. And
he doesn't want to do that. You understand why he did it.
Yeah, you understand why he did it. I mean, it's not right, but you understand why. But maybe they should have been pieces of shit. Maybe they should have not just been nice people because of like what everybody wanted back then.
Willoughby was the closest we got to a toxic one too, because then he was also talking shit about Colonel Brandon.
Yeah.
Who's still a gentleman in his own right.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, my only problems is there's no real drama, no real conflict. It didn't seem like everyone's too perfect. Everyone's too well mannered.
Yeah. And I wanted more differentiating in class to show like the real troubles they had to go through. Because once again, there's not that much. They don't really go through like troubles. They're like, yes, their father's dead, which is sad, but they're still living. I mean, maybe not luxury. I don't know what luxury is, because that seems like luxury to me when they go to the ranch and then they live with still rich people and they still eat extravagant courses and stuff and go to parties and all that stuff. They're just not treated good they're just treated badly with the ultra rich people.
Maybe that's the difference in the 90s till now too, especially with how the housing market is.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why we look at that little cottage housing for women as luxury still.
Yeah. Like the worst of it, it's cold, and that's about it.
Yeah, but hey.
Yeah. There's a section about gender on the Wikipedia page. I guess we can go through that. How it's showing like women like need men to live with to be alive. No, sorry, I'm explaining it wrong. How basically saying how women need to get married to be able to do anything. That's basically the whole thing to the movie. Of course, once again, this is taking place during the time where marriage was basically where women live,
Sure.
Because they need to get married to have babies and also to deal with the housework and everything else, So, I guess we'll go on to how everybody else thought it was. So, Ebert gave this 2.5 stars. So it wasn't really impressed. Basically the same thing we're saying. It's enjoyable, civilized, yet somehow not satisfying.
Yeah, that pretty much rounds up.
Yeah, he basically liked the movie Persuasion more, the other Jane Austen adaptation, which was adapted in 1994, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, so he said, quote, Sense and Sensibility is an enjoyable film, yet it left me somehow unsatisfied. I like the wit, I like the charm of the actors, I enjoyed the way that Rickman chewed his role as if he wanted to make it last, and the tension with Grant's Edward is made to suffer. Particularly since he appears to be a cad only because he has tried to do the right thing. I appreciate the way Thompson's Eleanor kept her character's face carefully expressing this as he negotiated scenes in which some knew her secrets and others did not.
Alright.
Yet, the film is not told as tightly as well as Persuasion and the wonderful Austen adaptation released early in 1995. Austen was not yet a great novelist when she wrote this story, and there's too much contrivedness in the way she dispatches her men to London, in which she is done with them. Edward is off the screen so long, instead of growing concerned about his absence, we forget him. End quote. Yeah. Which I kind of agree with.
That was actually a recurring thing. All three of the main suitors, Alan Rickman, Hugh Grant, and Gregory Wise, they do all at one point get summoned to London.
Yeah.
And that is kind of like the, not the MacGuffin, it's kind of like the, oops, we need to be out of the scene real quick type of
plot device.
Plot device, thank you. It is kind of funny. I kind of actually totally agree with Ebert. I know we're not on final thoughts, but it was a nice movie. It was nothing offensive at all, and it's just not one that I'll watch again, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I thought the writing was fine. I thought Emma Thompson did a great job with the writing then, and all the actors are terrific. Direction's fine. It's just story. The story's not up to par with, I guess, what I'm used to.
Yeah, it's not engaging,
Exactly.
Yeah, compared to Dangerous Liaisons, this movie is like a wet blanket.
That was a juicy movie,
That was a juicy movie. It told a better story of Navy class and how society works and that than better than this one.
Unfortunately, I think it proves that it's fun to watch bad people more than it is to watch good people.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or at least, you have to have some bad people against the good people. In this movie, really, there was no real bad person.
Yeah.
This movie got 97 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, a lot of people like this movie. A lot of people.
Hey, God bless them.
Cisco liked it, gave it a thumbs up. Once again, unfortunately, not a lot of Cisco articles I can find. I found one about the 1995 Emmys Oscars when he tried to guess which one was going to win, but that didn't really give me much. But he thought it was great humor, and he thought that Ang Lee and Emma Thompson juggled the characters great.
Okay. Yeah.
So basically the opposite of what Ebert said.
It was a pleasant movie. There was nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. So, okay, I guess we'll go into our final thoughts.
Sure.
Yeah, I guess not.
Well, you got mine. I give it. I'll be nicer than Ebert. I'll give it. What do we do? Out of 4 or 5?
I think wasn't it out of 6?
Oh, it was out of 6.
It's out of 6 now. Yeah.
What does he do? 4?
Yeah, he does 4,
and he did 2.5.
2.5.
Oh, that's not bad. That's not terrible then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of
Well,
course,
I'll give it
in our scale, a 2.5 is a bad movie.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct. So he's just over a half. Actually, I'm not going to do any better. I'm going to do 3.25.
3.25
out of 6. For
yeah,
me.
definitely. Yeah, I would agree with you. Like, I agree with Ebert. Like, I know we say that a lot, but he is right. I mean, this movie, it just didn't connect with me.
He was a smart man.
He was a smart man.
People didn't need to knock him as much, you know.
But I agree with him. It's just like, it's like watching a painting. It's nice for a little bit, and then it gets kind of boring, and then you just want to move on, and it just moves on very slowly. And, like, I wanted more drama. I wanted more emotion, and I didn't really get that. And maybe I'm just, I don't know, because not because I'm a man, but I just didn't get that in this movie.
Yeah.
And I would give it the same like score he does if he did out of 4, 2.5 stars. But since it's out of 3, I'll give it 3 stars.
3 out of 6.
3 out of 6. Yeah.
Yeah, my reaction at the end of it was, "Oh, okay,
it's over."
You know what I mean? That's about it.
Yeah, just like okay, they're happy now. That's it.
That's cool.
That's it.
Go back to my shitty life.
Yeah, I'm not interested to see how Persuasion is in other movies of Jane Austen.
I'm sure we'll get to them eventually.
Definitely. So yeah, let's go through the award season of that year. So the Oscars, this was nominated a lot. Nominated for Best Picture, Best Actress, Emma Thompson. Best Supporting Actress, Kate Winslet. Best Cinematography, Michael Coulter. Best Costume Design, Jenny Bevan and John Brie. I don't know if I pronounced that right. And Best Original Dramatic Score, Patrick Doyle. The costumes, I must say, were amazing. They were very accurate to the time and really imaginative.
Oh, 100%. The production was terrific.
Yeah.
Production values were all great.
It did win for Best Writing Adapted Screenplay, Emma Thompson. Best Picture that year was Braveheart, Apollo 13, Babe, El Postino, and Sense and Sensibility. So not the strongest year. No.
But Braveheart won.
Braveheart won. That was the Braveheart year. And so Mel Gibson won Best Director.
Lovely.
Yeah, lovely.
Can't think of anyone more
I don't know, like, I've never seen Braveheart, but I don't think that's the strongest of the winners of the Academy Award.
No.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
It's a good movie, but definitely not, like, the best out of all of them. But 95 wasn't a great year. I can tell by the box office. So 95, the top 10 for box office was Batman Forever, number 1. Apollo 13, number 2. 3 was Toy Story. 4 was Pocahontas. 5 was Ace Ventura, When Nature Calls. 6 was Casper. 7 was Die Hard with a Vengeance. 8 was Crimson Tide. Don't know what that movie was about. 9 was GoldenEye. And 10 was Waterworld.
GoldenEye, nice.
People forget Waterworld.
Waterworld was actually not as big a flop as I thought it was.
Yeah. I don't know how much it cost, but it made like $90 million in the box office. So
it's 10th of the year.
Yeah.
Beat out Sense and Sensibility.
Yeah, and so Sense and Sensibility was released in December, so it's part of the 96 box office. It is 36 out of 200, according to Box Office Mojo, so it made $39 million domestic. Yes, during that time. Okay, fun facts about this movie. The Dashwoods moved to their humble cottage when the weather was cold and the sheep still had their long winter coats, but it was filmed in late May, so it was heat. So the sheep killed over from heat exhaustion. So the sheep were immediately sheared and later appeared with their haircuts, despite the wintry setting.
Jeez.
Yeah. While working on script, Dame Emma Thompson, she's a dame, so we must say that, computer developed problems. She was unable to locate the file, so she called Stephen Fry, who's an expert in computers, especially Apple computers, and Stephen Fry fixed it and retrieved the script, and that's why he is thanked in the movie.
Wow, that's pretty cool. That's actually a really cool story.
Yeah, during filming the Jane Austen Society, telephone co-producer James Scamus, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, to complain about the casting of Hugh Grant, claiming he was too good-looking to play Edward Ferrars. So that's why, Dame Emma Thompson recounted that during the scene where Colonel Brandon approaches Eleanor and Mary Ann on horseback, many of the takes were ruined because of the horse's flatulence. Eventually, they were forced to shoot the scene with the farting horse, and the rather loud reports were edited out of the soundtrack.
Amazing.
I'd love to see that scene.
That would be funny, actually.
Yeah, to see it farting. Feeling self-conscious about herself, Kate Winslet was skipping meals in an attempt to lose weight. Emma Thompson noticed and told her quote, losing weight is absolutely wrong for the part and absolutely wrong for you. Thompson gave Winslet a copy of the Beauty Myth, encouraging her to embrace her body. Winslet has since credited Thompson as having a major influence on her and her life, And the two are extremely close friends to this day.
That's wholesome as shit.
Yeah.
I like that.
The scene where Willoughby rescues Mary Ann in driving rain took about 50 takes. This resulted in Kate Winslet contracting hypothermia and fainting. To warm her up, Greg Wise stuck her legs into his armpits while Emma Thompson was rubbing her shoulders. It was doing this that Winslet first noticed Wise and Thompson flirting.
Wow.
Yeah. Kate Winslet was admitted that she was terrified of Alan Rickman when she met him in hair and makeup. She thought that he would think she was a terrible actress and get her fired. After 2 weeks, she noticed how nice and warm he was. And they worked together again at A Little Chaos, a 2014 film.
Cool.
Given that this was the first English language movie, director Ang Lee was taken aback when Emma Thompson and Hugh Grant had suggestions about the characters, since Lee was not used to that style of filmmaking, because I think in Taiwan it's different. And finally, in a book, Sense and Sensibility, Screenplay and Diaries, bringing Jane Austen's novel to film, Dame Emma Thompson writes that a particularly difficult day of filming a sequence involved a flock of sheep. Director Ang Lee swore that he would never again use animals on the movie set, but then 10 years later in Brokeback Mountain, he did. He used sheep again.
Okay.
So yeah, so that was interesting facts.
Those were.
Yeah. Fine, just like the movie.
Right.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. So, man, it's not really an eventful episode, unfortunately. Damn.
No, but we still have named that movie at
We
least.
do still have named that movie, folks. Time for the final thing. TJ,
right.
what is the final thing for this week?
It's name that movie. Simple. I give you 10 clues and
Yes.
with increasing difficulty, and you try and take those clues and guess what movie it is I'm talking about.
Got it.
All right? And once you think you have it, I want you to type it on your computer, because after that, you're done. If you lock in too early, too bad for you, Bob.
Got it.
Okay? And I
Yeah.
don't want you shouting it out so people at home can play.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
So, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. See if you can name this movie. Clue 1. This film released in 1990. Yeah.
Okay.
Clue 2. However, the very first stages of writing the film's script began in 1974, and the project was held up in production hell for over a decade.
Okay.
Clue 3. At the time of its release, the film was the second most expensive movie ever produced, only behind Rambo 3. Clue number 4. Ooh, you locking in?
Almost. Give me clue number 4.
Christopher Reeve was offered the lead role in the film at one point, but he turned it down.
Just not the one I'm thinking.
You know there's always one of those.
Yeah.
I get these off of IMDb, so if any of the trivia is incorrect, blame them.
Yeah. As you know, IMDb is sound place for trivia facts.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
All right, clue number 5. This film was based on a novella by Philip K. Dick.
Oh, I got it. Fucking.
Clue number 6. Because of the scenery needed for much of the movie, much of the film needed to be shot in Mexico, and nearly the entire crew suffered from food poisoning at one point or another during production.
Damn.
Yeah. Damn, this is the earliest you locked in, and you have it right.
I got it.
I hate your guts.
I know.
I thought I did a good job this time.
Oh, you didn't.
Just wait until I choose like Friday the 13th Part 5 in the beginning. I'll get you good. All right, clue number 7. This film contended for Academy Awards in 1991, the last year in which there was no specific Oscar given for Best Visual Effects. However, the film still received a Special Achievements Award for visual effects. Clue number 8. At one point, David Cronenberg was signed on to direct, but he ultimately left the film to direct The Fly, and this left the door open for Paul Verhoeven to take over the director's chair. Clue number 9. This film features a famous animatronic character named Kuado, whose motions took 15 puppeteers to control in total. And finally, prior to production of the film, Patrick Swayze was signed on to play the title role. However, when Dino De Laurentiis' company went bankrupt, Arnold Schwarzenegger convinced eventual distributor Carolco Pictures to purchase the script for him. All right, so you got that at clue 5 about the Philip K. Dick novella.
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you'd seen this movie or not. Have you seen it?
Who hasn't seen this movie?
Just making sure, okay.
Can I say it?
Sure. You can say it.
It's Total Recall.
That is correct.
I know.
I hate your guts.
I remember at work, I was showing photos of Total Recall. People were discussing it, and we were going to go see a movie. and we should ask the people, can we watch Total Recall? but it was like, no.
Was it were you showing them the Mars face exploding scene?
Yeah. That and the Watto. That. Yeah. I couldn't show the 3 boobs, but...
No, it could get you in trouble in a workplace environment.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, good work. One interesting thing was, remember that clue I mentioned about the food poisoning in Mexico?
Yeah.
So it was, according to this IMDb fact anyway, it was all crew members except for 2.
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, who after drinking bad tap water in Mexico while filming Predator, decided for this movie to have all of his food brought in catered from the U.S.
Yeah.
And another, I think it was one of the screenwriters who would religiously boil water before brushing his teeth or cooking or drinking, and like the whole crew made fun of him for it.
Yeah.
And then he was the only one that, aside from Arnold, that didn't get poisoned. So,
damn.
Good work. Hopefully that was somewhat challenging to the people at home, but I guess I'll have to do better next time.
Yeah, give us like an obscure one, TJ. Come on. Too nasty.
If you want. If you want, we'll...
that's good. Yeah, so I guess now the last thing to do is to see what movie we got next. So the last movies we got is England is Mine, The English Patient, which, oh man, that movie's considered boring. Oh my god, yeah.
Can't we just? I'm just gonna play dumb and watch the Seinfeld episode titled "The English Patient."
The English Patient. And then Last Days.
I don't like any of these, to be honest with you.
Was the movie called Last Days? What was it called?
Yeah, I think it was.
Last Days.
It was Gus Van Sant.
Oh yeah, that's
like Last Days or something. But
that's it. Okay.
It's kind of misleading.
Hopefully, we can talk more about the English Patient of hopefully it's how bad it is instead of like just being quaint like this movie.
That's true. Maybe it'll give us more to talk about.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, let's see what we have to watch next.
Okay, let's see. Spin the wheel, make the deal. Spin the wheel, make the deal. Spin the wheel, make the deal.
No whammy. Oh boy.
England is Mine. We're going to talk about Morrissey, people.
The movie about Morrissey that can't legally use the Smiths' name or songs. This is going to be rough, my friend. All right. Okay. We'll shoot to do this 2 weeks from now. Okay?
Shoot 2 weeks now. So, yes. So, if we're late, blame TJ.
That's right.
Yes, definitely. Okay, well, I'm Mo, and after reviewing this movie, I don't want teen carpets anymore.
And I'm TJ, and over the last 45 minutes, I've been feeling on Mo's ankle, and I have great news. It is not broken.
All right.
Excellent. Well, this has been It's Still New to Us, damn it.
Goodbye. Love you. Fuck England. If you like our podcast, then please like, subscribe, follow, or whatever you have to do to listen. We're on Spotify, SoundCloud, and Anchor, and hopefully more podcast streaming services soon. Follow us on Twitter at it_dammit, and on our Facebook page, It's Still New to Us, because Facebook hates us. Thanks for listening.